Right, and we're live. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Stuart Calder. I'm VP for Sales and Marketing here at Netready. It is a pleasure to welcome you back to this new year, 2022. We are so happy to be back. It's been about 4 weeks break, and it's taking a toll on me. It's been tough. I hate not being able to sit here and speak to you about this awesome industry, this lucrative industry called multi-level marketing each and every week. So this week, today, it starts again for the year of 2022. And we've got an awesome guest for you today. I cannot believe that I've managed to do this. But in studio with us right now is the beautiful, the magnificent Sean Connery.
Wish. You cheeky blighter.
So we set that up, Richard. Just posted on our page now is a picture. I think it's a mirror image.
Good heavens, there he is.
Of you and Sean. Love the new look.
Is that? No wonder the two of you were outside chirping.
It had to be done because it's a mirror image. I don't know.
Well, the issue is when he sticks on his
yes.
poor boy hat.
Yes, yeah.
That's the look we're going for. But you know this was an accident, eh?
Okay, yeah.
So I had the clippers and I was trying to just shorten my hair, but because it was looking like an explosion in a mattress factory, and I had my head down and I'm busy, clipping it, and then I opened my eyes. I heard this clicking sound. I opened my eyes and there's the little number 4 cover lying on the floor, and I'm busy hacking huge chunks out of my hair.
With the number 1.
Yeah, with the number 1. So it had to all go.
Okay. So, but I think it fell from here and just it landed here.
Yeah. What can I say? Hey?
But it's a beautiful look.
So anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sean and me.
Yeah.
Sean's my boy.
Sean. Sorry, Richard. Thank you so much for joining us here today. So, guys, what we're going to be chatting about today is
You're a dog.
We're doing a book review on a book called GoPro, The 7 Ways of Becoming a Network Marketing Pro. This is a book that has been written by Eric Worre. He is a network marketing specialist in training top MLM earners around the world. He's also a leading authority in coaching network marketing and is an award-winning author of this book. He's sold over 1.5 million copies and he's doing tremendously well. And just by getting a review on this book, we thought, let's spend some time going through this book, understanding what Eric's intention of was, putting 30 years of experience, 35 years of experience into 2 hours of an Audible file. I mean, how amazing is that?
Yeah, it's incredible.
So the information that we learned was incredible. We're implementing it in our own businesses, and it's definitely information that we'd love to convey to you that you can use in your business. It's also information resource that we'd love for you to read, listen and read. I think, Caleb, if you don't mind, just popping through the Audible file as well as the Kindle file through Amazon. What we find, Richard, is that if you're sitting reading a Kindle, running through the lines and listening to the Audible file at the same time, I think the stats are somewhere like 5 or 7 times greater absorption of information.
Yeah, your attention's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So
I read this book called The $100 Million Offer. You read it, and and he actually suggests it. He says, look, what you should do is listen to the book and read it at the same time, and it seems to lock your focus in much better.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been doing, and because you listened, and what I did with the book is I put it on you can speed up Audible.
Right. Yeah.
So I put it on 1.5. Well, not 1.5. That was a bit too. I think 1.2. I think is what I put it on.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that it locks you in. You're actually so super focused, and you get through the book in a couple of hours. So you can actually read a book incredibly quickly that way. And because you're so locked into it, you're reading it and listening to it, your retention just goes through the roof. So we found that to be a very, very effective way of getting through large volumes of written material.
Yeah, right. Eric, if you are listening to this, and we are going to be sending you this link, we'd love for you to jump onto a call with us. We'd love to interview you. We'd love to hear more about your book and your experience, because I think this is information that the world of network marketing needs to hear. And if we're all speaking the same language and we're getting to interview like-minded people and authorities within the space, I think it'll be a fantastic opportunity. So please, if you're listening, we want to do this interview with you. So let's carry on. Was that a good enough sell to?
That was good. I hope he hears it.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay.
So, Richard, on this review of GoPro, the 7 Ways of Becoming a Network Marketing Professional, we we want to run through this review, and we don't want to disclose too many insights of this book.
No, we don't want to give you secrets away. I mean,
of course not.
Buy the book.
Of course. But we want to dance around and highlight the certain elements that really appeal to us, and we think that will appeal to other MLM business owners, to teach their people these 7 ways of creating a successful business for themselves.
Well, look, I think that just to kick off, I think the key thing for me to say is that I've been in this business, as you know, for over 30 years. So I've been around the block, and I'm an avid reader. I like to read everything I can get my hands on in terms of the multi-level marketing space, because I believe there's a tremendous amount to be gained from other people's experience. I don't know how I missed this book. I really don't, because it's been out a while. When I read this book, it was one of the few books that completely and utterly knocked me on my butt, and the complete aha moments. Oh, wow, I can't believe this. Every single chapter kind of blew me away. I thought, wow, if our guys implement this, it's game-changing, absolute game-changing. So we definitely, I mean, as you know, we're implementing this in our business. I think that if every single one of your people were to read this book and implement what's in it, that your business would explode. So, so I'm recommending for anybody who's running a multi-level marketing business to read this book. But I would say anybody who's in a network marketing business, just as a networker, if you want to build a big network, 100% think that this should be the #1 book you should read this year.
Yeah. Wow, that's powerful coming from you, Richard.
Yeah, no, look, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, okay. So what Eric speaks about in this book is he has a whole introduction to MLM and the conversations that we have with prospects and like-minded people. There is a lot, and I want you to read the book. So I'm not going to get into that, but what I do want to highlight here is those 7 steps.
Yes.
So can we go through the 7 steps? Just provide some more information from your
100%.
side, from his side. Okay, so the first thing I want to do here is step 1 is prospecting, or finding the prospects of people that we can recruit.
Well, look, that is a key part of the book, because if you don't have somebody to talk to, you don't have a business. So having someone to talk to is critical. And so what Eric does is he creates a very easy way for you to literally talk to anybody about the business, and in a very low friction way that doesn't put you under pressure, doesn't put the person under pressure. And one of the things he mentions is why people fail in this business. And there's a couple of reasons, but the one he points out is that people go out, they think, well, this is a casino style play. I'll give it a punt.
Right.
Well, if you're giving it a punt, you can forget about it. This is not a casino. This is not a lottery. There's no giving the punt and winning. You cannot. This is a business. You've got to work at it. So that was the first thing that he made in this section that is really clear. And then the second section is, okay, so you're not going to go out there, write a list of the 5 people you know, approach them. If they don't join, you think, well, this doesn't work, and off you go. If that's your idea of how to run a business, well, then you're sadly mistaken. And so I loved that about it. He was talking about the fact that you can build a list, and then you can actually connect with anybody to add to your list. Whether it's somebody giving you service or somebody in the lift with you or whatever. And I'm going to give you an example, my personal example. When I was running Acorn Kids and we were just getting started and I need people to talk to, I used what Eric calls as the indirect approach. So I'd get into a lift. Now, okay, this takes a bit of chutzpah, but you just do it once or twice. You see, people are so nice. I'd get into a lift on the ground floor and I'd say, you're probably wondering why I called this meeting. I don't care who's in that lift. There's always, everybody chuckles, okay, so why did you call the meeting? It's like, it's a natural, and if they don't say anything, well, they don't say anything, but it's never happened to me. And it's an easy sentence. You're probably wondering why I called this meeting. Everybody chuckle, why did you call this meeting? And I always had my business cards on me. And I would say, we're looking for full-time moms who want a part-time business selling Acorn Kids children's bath products. If you know anybody who would like to do Acorn Kids full-time and part-time and be a full-time mom, won't you please give them my card? And I would hand out the card. Now this is the kind of thing he talks about. He talks about the ability to very simply and easily talk to absolutely anybody about the business and get them to give you their details, give you their name, and allow you to put them onto your prospect list. And hell, You could just go out there if you wanted to do this. You could just go out there into any building in the country and just sit in the lifts going up and down, saying, "Hey, I'm looking for part-time people." I mean, you could do that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's an easy thing. You've given them enough information. If they know somebody, because they're thinking, "Oh, who do I know?" And so they might give you a name. If you know anybody, please give me your name. Just drop me a line. There's my email address. Just email me or whatever. WhatsApp me. There's my telephone number.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, that's not what he talks about in the book.
But I think through that approach, it's always, it is indirect. But you're sitting there talking to someone that goes, actually, maybe this is an opportunity for me.
Absolutely.
So you're building a lead list with the people that are sitting in the lift with you.
Yes.
Or standing.
And he shows you in that first chapter, he shows you how to build a lead list and to add people to that lead list every single day and to always have people to talk to. And so I really loved that first chapter. I thought, wow, this is absolutely epic. I can see how we could implement this, and I can see how it can be incredibly effective, and it certainly could augment some of our other lead generation methods, which we know are effective as well. So I thought that chapter was really, really wonderful. Yeah. Because it's the foundation of everything.
Right. There's also, where to find these prospects, and he talks about going to places that you never thought of going, or becoming part of clubs and societies, and registering with various organizations just to connect. He spoke about if you can speak to anyone that could then become a lead and not burn that lead straight away. So one of the things I really loved what he said was, you'll build a connection with someone straight off the bat, but wouldn't present the business opportunity to them. Yeah. Rather form a relationship with them that becomes meaningful, and when the time is right, I think you used that phrase, present the opportunity in a subtle way.
Yeah, exactly. Because what you're not trying to do is going around with a baseball bat trying to beat people into the business. I mean, it never works. It doesn't work. It never has worked. You want a subtle, slow, a relationship-based approach to getting people into the business, and it needs to be low friction.
Yeah.
And that's what he shows you in that section, is how to, with very low friction, very simply, to get people into the business.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. When I join a company and I build a prospect list, do I go out straight away and approach these guys?
No, absolutely not. Well, that's part of the rest of we'll go through the rest of the skills, because what you don't want to do is write your 10 names on a list and then with absolutely zero training approach the 10 people who will obviously say no to you because you don't know what the dickens you're talking about, and that's it. Now you think, well, 100% of the people on my list didn't want to join, and therefore I'm out of it. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
If you've got 1,000 names and 10 people say no, then that's only a small percentage. 1% of the people said no. Yeah. If you've got 10 names and 10 people say no, 100% of the people said no, you're gone. So what you should do is, in building your lead list, in building your prospect list, you're wanting to be creating a relationship with the person, not showing the opportunity. You need to be completely skilled up about showing the opportunity before you show them the opportunity. And there's some incredible techniques that he teaches you on how to share the opportunity.
Okay, so let's go into that. So step number 2 is inviting the prospects to see the business opportunity.
Now, what did you think of that chapter?
No, that was amazing. Every chapter is amazing. Full disclosure, it blew our minds. And I think that, based on what we've said about the absorption and the retention, I was sitting in the car listening to the audio file, and I was mind blown. And then 2 days later, I sat with my Kindle and I listened to it, and again, I was just amazed.
Whoa.
And this chapter is no different. All chapters are the same.
Yeah. So, I mean, so the thing about this chapter is sharing the opportunity. I don't want to, again, go into, spoiling all of his secrets in the book, because I think that everybody should buy this book. But the bottom line is, the way that he works with it is he creates scripts that allows you to share the opportunity with a person without having to do the presentation yourself. So his whole concept is that the company's tools need to do the work. So it's either your upline, or it's the meetings, or it's online webinars, or it's Zoom meetings, or it's whatever. The tools need to do the work. And what you are just the messenger, you're not the message. So the whole concept in here, and his scripts are very powerful. The concept is that I say to you, hey, Stuart, if I sent you this link, would you take a look at it? That's fundamentally at the core of it what he's doing. And if I say to this, you're a friend of mine, listen, I'm involved in the school business. If I send you a link, will you take a look at it? There's no pressure there.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no pressure. You say to me, sure, you'll take a look at it. Now, he's got mechanisms to tie that down and to lock in appointments, and they're all just that easy. Because, I mean, nobody is going to, if I say to you, hey, listen, can I sit down with you for an hour and a half at a coffee shop and actually explain this business to you? You're under pressure, I'm under pressure. You're thinking, oh my goodness, this guy's going to try and recruit me into this blimmin' MLM scam thing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I've got to try and convince Stuart of how to do this. It puts a lot of pressure on the relationship. It puts a lot of pressure on the meeting. Whereas if I say to you, hey Stu, listen, I've got this incredible link that's going to teach you about the business. If I send it to you, will you take a look at it? You don't feel pressure by that.
Of course
you say,
not.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's a small commitment for me.
Yeah, small commitment.
Rather than having to drive to a coffee shop and sit with you for an hour.
And if you get halfway through it and you decide this is a load of rubbish and switch it off, I don't feel under pressure. It's not you sitting there saying, listen, this is not for me. Let's finish our coffee. I'm out of here. You understand? So what he's done with this whole presenting the opportunity in that chapter is he's put it into a place where it makes it extremely easy for you to invite somebody, get them to take a look at the opportunity, and then you'll see in later chapters, later skills, how you follow up with those people and turn them into customers. And the beauty of that is that he actually provides you with real scripts. And you literally just need to learn the script and read the script. If you just do what he says, it's so simple.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what blew my mind about it, is that over the years, I've always had all of these, like, very complex mechanisms. And he says here in the book, and I 100% agree with him, it doesn't matter what works. It only matters what duplicates. And the beauty of this is that this is totally duplicatable. Every single member in your entire network, in your entire organization, down to the most menial cleaning lady, could implement this strategy and get it to work for them.
Yep.
That's what makes it so mind-blowing. And the message, as he says, the message is very powerful because it's from a highly experienced, a very effective source, very credible source. So when you sit down to listen to it, obviously the belief factor is raised radically. Whereas, as you said to me, you were talking in the boardroom just now about the fact that when you go to see your friend to pitch him, what did you say? Something about not being an expert or
not being authority within the space. So I know when I join a business, let's say it's a herbal tea business, I enter this company, I cannot possibly be an authority or an expert within herbal tea. I can't go to my friend and say, well, science has proven this, this is what's in it. I don't have the education and the experience to be able to speak with authority. So what I need to do is rely on company tools that I can refer my prospects to, that can assist in educating them further to make the right decision to join the business.
So that's exactly it. That is the whole thesis of that skill, is showing people how to invite people to listen to the company,
pitch the
presentations or whatever, and then obviously in later skills how to follow up with them, and of course the scripts are there. Again, what I love about this is it's not a theoretical approach to it. It's a practical. Say these words, and this is probably, most likely, what your response is going to be. And when the person says this, you say that. If they say that, you say that. If they say this, you say that. And so when you've got a script like that, and it's only like 5 or 10 lines, hell, you can learn that. You can do it easily.
For sure.
As a matter of fact, most of the stuff could be done over WhatsApp.
So this is what I was going to ask, because I know what he punts in the book is to pick up the phone. I mean, this is a belly-to-belly industry, and having a conversation on the phone, if we're a distance apart, is the next best thing. But in this day and age, this technological day and age, WhatsApp is a medium that people are communicating on all the time. They understand it, they know it, they trust it. And if you can implement the same messaging, that same strategy, through WhatsApp, I think you'll have as high conversions.
Well, maybe not as high. I don't think that there's any substitute for actually talking to a person. Either talking to them in person or talking to them through a telephone. I think that talking to them in person, first prize, getting on a call with them, second prize. But I think, as you say, the social media platforms because they are instant, and I can actually have a physical conversation with you via WhatsApp or via Skype or via Instagram or Telegram or any of those platforms, I can actually get into a conversation with you. So I could send the messages. So you could use the exact same scripts that he's got in his book in the skill 2, and you can communicate with people via WhatsApp.
Right.
It won't be as effective as talking to your friend in person, but it certainly is going to be incredibly effective.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, you said to me Jess, for example, hates the phone. Heike, my wife, hates the phone. She absolutely, she would rather that the person left her standing on the side of the road and missed the appointment completely than phone them and confirm the appointment on the telephone.
Yeah.
That's how much she hates the phone. And so this would be a real opportunity for you to, you know, those people who are really phone averse and to do it. And in the modern era, as you said, it's, you know, everybody's.
Of course, everyone's on their phones.
You know, you go to a restaurant and you look and there's 10 families around them. Like everybody's got their head down over their phone. They're probably SMSing or WhatsApping their person sitting at the other side of the table. I wouldn't be surprised, you know.
What I think, Richard, is that it definitely, especially in the beginning stages of you becoming a distributor for a business, implementing this strategy over WhatsApp gains you a lot of experience and knowledge on the structure of that strategy, what their response would be.
Look, Eric doesn't recommend that, so I mean that's not his.
Yes.
I'm
No,
just
he doesn't.
saying.
Correct.
I'm just saying that. Look, it is a way of doing it, and the scripts will work for WhatsApp. They will work for Instagram, etc.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go into the next step.
Which next skill? Yeah.
The next skill. Come on. Which is where are we? Are we on step 3? Presenting your product, business opportunity.
Now, presenting the opportunity. Yeah. So, what I liked about this chapter is that the comment that he makes in that is that the man with the marker makes the money.
Yes.
Now, when you're getting started, what you're doing is you're leaning on your upline, you're leaning on the opportunity meetings, you're leaning on the Zoom meetings, you're leaning on the company material, the company links, etc. You're leaning on those things. But at some point, you have the opportunity to become an expert at presenting the opportunity yourself. And the guy with the marker at the front who's presenting the opportunity generally is the person making the money. Now, what's happening in that space is that your people are looking to you. They are leveraging your expertise and your skill. So let's say that you're my upline. I want to bring, let's say, Shannon along to come and chat with you. So what I would do is I would edify the hell out of you. I say, Stuart, he's an absolutely amazing guy. Love him to bits. Knows everything there is to know about this business.
Yeah.
Stuart, I'd like you to meet Shannon. She's like this epic person that I'm really desperate to get in the business. And I was hoping you could tell us something that would actually blow her mind and get it in there. Now, I've edified you. I've edified Shannon. So when she talks to you, you become the expert. So if you become an expert at presenting the business plan, it doesn't happen on day one.
Right.
But once you can really do it effectively, then you become a resource for your team. And they can come to you at meetings. They can get you onto Zoom calls. They can get you onto 3-way calls. You can help them build their business because you become the expert. And this whole process, this whole skill talks about how you get into it, how you become an expert at it, and the benefits of being an expert at actually being able to present the plan to people.
Do we ever... So we're given a plan, right? So we're given a presentation that the company's created. We learn the story. We learn our story and how it marries to that plan. We don't veer away from... I mean, the company's given information that speaks about the products and opportunity and our social responsibility. We don't customize that.
No, of course
we don't
not.
make that story ourselves.
Look, there is your story,
right,
which is very powerful.
Yeah.
And he talks about that a lot in the book.
Yes.
The fact that you have a personal journey that you've been on. And people are very interested in your story.
Right.
They might not be as interested in what you know, but they're interested in your story. So he talks about you telling your story and how you structure your story. And he gives you a real solid breakdown of how to create your story. But in this section, what you're doing is, again, you're leaning on the company's tools. You want to, again, be the messenger. So when you present the opportunity, you use the company's tools, use the company's presentations, you use the company's strategies, because those are tried and tested. You know, the company's been out there doing it for a while. They know what works, what doesn't work. You don't have to reinvent that wheel. So you just take what works and you regurgitate it. But because you're my authority in this, my lead is listening to you as an authority in the space. And so that's what I'm leaning on you. You're leaning on the company's tools.
Yeah.
And so you could even show them a video. We could do a home meeting, and you can say, well, we're doing a Zoom call today, and you can get them on an evergreen webinar or whatever, and they can watch that Zoom call or the evergreen webinar and get information. You still are that authority figure.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So presenting the opportunity is on your upline and your company tools. That's basically the two key components that he speaks about there.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
Obviously,
go.
and getting to do it yourself. I mean, in the Dream Team, we've got a coffee shop brochure.
Yeah.
Again, it's a company tool. I sit with the client and the prospect, and I take them through this.
Right.
If I can do that myself with them over coffee in 10 or 15 minutes, then that obviously makes me an expert. The person views me as understanding this business properly, will have more faith in me.
Sure. I see that as the company tools, the marketing collateral and the instruments that the company presents me to then present to my prospects.
Right,
okay.
yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. Step number 4 is following up with these prospects. Now, he goes through 4 different concepts, and we're not going to go into them, but I think we want to just dance around this step in the process, the skill in the process.
Well, Stuart, I'm going to throw this porcupine into your lap because you are the freaking master of follow-up. You really are. I mean, I've been completely blown away about how you follow up with our clients and the sort of relationship you create there. So, I mean, what did you get out of that?
Well, what I got out of the book was something that reaffirmed what I believed already, was that in this space in particular, you know, the people that do well in this space are the carers, you know, the nurses, the teachers, the people that aren't hard salesmen, that aren't A-type personalities, that are people that truly care about recruiting the right people, nurturing them and helping them grow. Yeah. Because if I'm able to do that, well, I'm growing my own business. So I think when it comes to that, the follow-up is not be too repetitive, not be too in your face, but be at a distance that lets you know that I'm here for you.
Yeah.
It provides you with enough support so that when I am approaching you on this opportunity to get involved with, wow, he doesn't need me to be involved.
Yeah.
But he truly wants me to be involved. So I think that was the cool message that I took out of that. And it's definitely something that I have been implementing and I will continue to do through all of our Netready clients and our business ventures going forward. And I want to instill that within all of our top leadership as well.
Exactly. And look, from my point of view, what I got out of that, and I'm that A-type personality.
Yeah.
I mean, my background is go in, do the presentation, high-priced product, close the deal. I mean, we come out of the background of big advertising agencies. So we'd go in, we'd pitch big projects, and we'd try and close the deals on the day. You know, so that's my background. But what I got out of this is that in the multi-level marketing space, you're moving from connection to connection. And so his thing with following up is not a case of, hey, are you ready to buy yet? No, you're not. Okay, I'll call you in a week.
Yeah.
It's not that at all. It's about moving from connection to connection and moving the relationship forward and the possibility of them becoming involved forward over a period of time. And I love how he describes that and how he brings home the practicality of moving from connection to connection. So that for me was a big thing, a big takeaway in that particular chapter.
Did he use I think he used the phrase exposure. So your next
exposure, the next exposure. Yes, that's right.
And it was somewhere around you would have 4 to 6 exposures in which to then close a
Well,
prospect.
he reckons it can take up to 10.
Yeah.
And he reckons that most people only sign up after the 6th exposure.
Right, that's what it was.
So if you expose the guy to the business or the gal to the business once, your chances of them joining are on 0 to nothing.
Yeah.
It takes up to 6 exposures before they're ready to consider it, and sometimes up to 10 exposures. And your job with a follow-up is not to close them, but to just move the ball forward. You're just moving the ball down the field each time you expose them.
Yeah.
So you can have different tools that you can utilize, you can have different techniques, and he gives you those techniques. I mean, that's what's lovely about it. It's practical.
Yeah.
You know, you can take that and you can say, okay, that's exactly what I need to do to get the next exposure. This is what I need to say. There's the script. Love it.
Yeah. So this book isn't just telling you what to do.
No,
actually
it's
a
not
how-to.
theoretical. It's practical. It's how to. Yes.
We love this.
That
book.
is what's so amazing about it. It's like, okay, if I say this, that's what will happen.
Yeah.
Well, then say that.
Sure.
You know, I mean, it's so obvious to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's important for me to know. It's from my personal experience in another life. I was involved in another industry, which was in procuring brand sponsorships, big brands to sponsor events and social responsibility organizations, and the exposure was 12 times.
Is that a fact?
12 times. So these are bigger.
Took you 12 times that you.
And this was setting up coffee shop experiences, going to board meetings with these people, jumping on Zoom calls, and setting up real moments for their interaction. And 12 times. I mean,
well, you're seeing the same thing with the Netready clients.
Yeah.
You don't sell them a massive enterprise level software solution like Netready
Sure.
on the first call. It actually takes you time. You form a relationship that you're continually talking to them about what their goals are, how they want to go about it, how the systems can help them. And it probably takes 10 or 12 contacts before you sign up a decent client there.
Yeah. The other thing I love what he said was that you don't want to be a salesman in a sense. You want to be a listener. If you can be a listener and understand where someone's coming from, how much they want to earn, where they want to go, where they see themselves, what are their goals, if you can understand all that, you can piece a beautiful story together to then present this opportunity to them.
Yeah.
And we actually cover that in the next couple of steps. Okay. Let's move forward. All right. Step number 5 is helping prospects become customers or distributors.
This one knocked me on my butt.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, I wish I had known this 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
If I'd have known this skill, and I could have taught this skill to my network within the Acorn Kids business, we would have had 10 times the success we had. I mean, his whole method of moving the person from the point of maybe to the point of yes, let me sign up, where do I register? That whole sequence of events that he builds into that chapter just blew me away. I thought, wow, I wish I'd known that. Because it's so soft and it's so gentle and it's so obvious. And that's another thing. I kept on thinking to myself, well, why didn't I think of that? I mean, that is just so obvious. I obviously didn't apply my mind to it, because if I'd applied my brain to it, that would have been an obvious solution. And he just eases you through the entire process. And at the end of the day, you think, well, this is obvious. I want to sign up.
Of course. Yeah.
And that's kind of, and if I can sit down with you and I can know exactly what to say to take you to the next step, exactly what to say, and all I need to do is say it, then all I need to do is learn those 5 or 10 lines, and we're up and running. And if I'm really bad at those 10 lines, I sign up a few people. If I'm excellent at those 10 lines, I sign up a lot of people. This is a win all the way, as far as I'm concerned. What did you think? I mean,
I think people's biggest fear is when it comes to crunch time. When it comes to the point, asking for that order. Put your signature down. Put your details down. That is the hardest part for people. And we've seen it many, many times over.
Puts them into like a cold flipping
He's got sweats and you're shaking.
It's interesting, eh?
It's very interesting. And I think it all comes down to, once you've had the experience, your posture. How you stand there and present this opportunity, knowing your experience, knowing that what you're presenting is the right move for both parties involved. I think one of the things he mentioned here was, because of this posture, the response that he got from one of the potential distributors, his prospects, was that, but this is a multi-level marketing, a pyramid scheme. And he went, it's, and he stumbled through his words.
Yeah.
But when he changed his posture, he stood there and presented with authority and said, well, I've entered this business. I think it's a fantastic business. I've done a lot of research. The trajectory of the business is going well, and I wouldn't bet against me.
Yeah, and look, I mean, we're going to get to this in objections, but because that's one of his skills.
Yeah.
But is this a pyramid scheme?
Yes.
I loved his answer to that.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Well, his answer was, this is definitely not a pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes are illegal, and I would never be involved in something that's illegal.
Right.
Full stop. Don't need to discuss it. Now, I'm 100% susceptible to his other alternative, which he said is what most people do. Of course, it's a pyramid. Everything's a pyramid. Business is a pyramid. Church is a pyramid. There's nothing wrong with pyramids. You know, now suddenly we're getting into philosophical question. But all the guy's asking actually is this legal?
Yeah.
That's what he's asking.
Yeah.
And so, hey, I wouldn't be involved in something that's illegal. So obviously it's not a pyramid.
Right.
Moving on.
Dealt
with, So I mean that is in the objections.
The next one, yeah.
But in this one, in the closing, you know, yes, you might get to objections, so there might be some, but in the closing, you're working through a very structured Q&A session, which leads the person to the decision that they'd like to get involved.
Yeah.
It's just like 5 or 6 very simple questions. If I ask these questions, would you agree? And yes, you'd agree.
Yes.
So as you ask the questions, and again, I'm not going to give away the questions. I mean, that would be unfair.
Yeah.
But as you ask those questions, you just lead the person into the decision that obviously this makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
Yes.
So should we get you signed up? Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
And what really helps this process along is that when presenting the business opportunity, if it's from Upline or the company tools, we want to address all concerns that this prospect would have.
Exactly.
They need to understand the business in a digestible content, so that when the close happens, the value has been stacked so heavily that it's a no-brainer.
Exactly. And if you have a look at how we've done it, so first of all, we went out and we got skill 1, we got some prospects.
Yeah.
Skill 2, we invited the prospects to have a look at the company-based collateral.
Yep.
Step number 3, we became an expert at it ourselves and became part of the team doing the presenting the message.
Yep.
Step number 4 was
following up with them.
we followed up, so we kept making sure that they were there. We moved the ball down the field.
Yep.
Step number 5, when they were ready, not when we were ready,
Right.
when they were ready,
Yep.
we then went through skill 5, which was taking them from not being a member of the network to being a member of the network.
Or a customer.
Not being a customer to being a customer. Just easing them over that. So we're 5 skills in, and each skill is just a step along the process. It's just a process. And it's a practical process. That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to skill number 6. Come on.
If I look at this, I'm going, this is a lot. This is a lot of work to understand. But once you understand, it just becomes so fluid, so seamless, so easy.
Well, it's 6 scripts. 6 scripts so far to take a person from being nowhere to being
closing
there,
them.
to closing the deal.
Right.
6 scripts you got to learn. I mean, how easy is that?
Yeah.
It's like mind-blowing. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, the next one, and I love this one, is skill number 6 is helping your new distributor get started.
Oh, this is again. So my method of getting going when we were running Acorn Kids was, hey, welcome to the team. Just remember that I work for you. You don't work for me. I'm going to be out there in the fields with you. I'm going to be making it happen with you. I'm the man. Now, the problem with that is that I became the man. And when they failed, whose fault was it?
Right. It's yours.
Exactly, because I was the man. And if you've got one person, you can do it with one person. But we landed up with 10,000 ladies out there. You cannot do it with 10,000 ladies. And if you're not teaching your people to be independent, then you absolutely are on a hiding to nothing.
Yeah.
And you never grow your business that way. You need independent distributors.
Yeah.
And this
Sorry, what is the key word that we're looking for?
independent.
Duplicate.
Oh, duplicate. Oh, yeah.
If we can't
Yeah.
duplicate,
What does he say in his book? He says, it doesn't matter what works.
Yeah.
It only matters what duplicates.
correct.
And so that's key, because you might be like a complete dynamo. You might be an engine. You might be able to recruit every single person on the planet just through sheer force of your personality. But that doesn't help, because you can't duplicate your personality. You've got to have strategies that duplicate, that everybody can do, that anybody can do easily. So that's the whole concept.
Yeah.
You know, duplication is absolutely. But here he's talking about, what's the skill again?
Helping a new distributor get started.
Yeah. So here
Yeah.
he's talking about setting expectations.
Right.
So part of the deal is,
Yes.
hey, I just want you to know that my job is to get you independent as quickly as possible. Would you agree that that is a great goal?
Yes.
And you get the person to buy in. So he's got a whole script that you go through onboarding a new distributor. And by the time he's finished with the script, The distributor is ready to make a phone call to his upline and say, listen, I don't need you, you suck, I'm going to do this by myself. Obviously, not quite that way, but he puts this in such a way that you just go through the script and you create the exact right tone with your distributor. So when I sign you up, by the time I've gone through that script, you know exactly what is expected of you. You know exactly what you expect of me. You know what the outcome is going to be. And we've set up a complete arrangement around how we're going to work together. And the expectations are real. They're not something that I can't live up to. They're something that I 100% can live up to. And you've got expectations that you 100% can live up to. And when we walk forward, suddenly the expectations are of such a nature that if you do what you're expected to do, you succeed. And if you succeed, my whole business succeeds. So that, getting a distributor started, the way that he goes about that is, again, it's practical, scripts around it, shows you exactly what to do. Awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, the way that he goes about it in this book is everything's broken down into these steps or phases or concepts or parts. Here, helping a distributor to get started. He's got a part 5 series on how to do it. It's point form summary on...
Oh, the 5 parts.
The 5 parts.
Not part 5.
Part 5, yes.
You see.
5 parts.
What happens when you don't wear a white shirt?
Please, we weren't going to bring this up. I don't want to know the whole story about going to gym and then having to come back because you forgot the white top. And now I'm sitting with...
Plaid.
This is Scottish. This is like my kilt. For
really?
Colder,
Okay.
So I thought it was worthwhile as we did this book review. No, I'm just making that up. He also speaks about this game plan interview. I'm not going to get into it because it's definitely something that I want anyone who's going to be reading this book, buying this book, to go through. But the first part about that is just what you said, validating the person as they join the business.
Yeah, exactly.
Richard, I'm so happy and proud of you. You've made the right decision to join this company. Your life and your family's life is going to change.
Yeah, so exactly.
How powerful.
Yeah, very, very powerful. And that whole chapter is about creating validation, creating expectation, and setting goals and targets.
Right.
And so if you go through that, and it's quick. The beauty of it is every single one of these skills maybe takes a bit of time to understand, but once you understand them, implementing them is really fast because it's a simple process. You know? So yeah.
What I really like about this chapter is it plays into a lot of what we speak about is you have 6 weeks to get your distributor to make something happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, we speak about things like recruiting your first 2 people, making your first sale.
Customers.
We speak about, what else do we speak about, Richard?
Your fast start bonuses, earning your first commission check.
Yes. So commission. I know that that is quite a psychological thing to have happen when joining a new business. If I can see that after the first month, so 4 weeks have passed, and I've made sales and I've recruited a couple of people, if I get commission back, I go, I've just recovered my investment. This does work.
Well,
it's
even if you haven't, you know what, we've got a lot of data because we have a lot of clients.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I dug into the data to see what happens. Anybody who has not earned money, not received a commission check within their first 6 weeks, the chances of them leaving the business are astronomically high. The vast majority of leave the business and never come back. Anybody who's earned more than, in our case, 10 Rand, I set the bar extremely low, 10 Rand, there was about an 80% retention on them. So even though they didn't recover their money, even though they got a small commission check back, their belief is it works. If I can make 10 Rand, I can make 20. If I can make 20, I can make 40. If I can make 40, I can make 80. So a very high percentage of people who earned money within their first 6 weeks stayed. The vast majority of people who didn't earn money in their first 6 weeks left. And when I tracked through to see if those names ever came back again, a minuscule percentage of people rejoined.
Wow.
If they hadn't earned money in their first 6 weeks. So when we talk about this course, what you got to do is you get your network to go through it fast. In the first week in the business, they have got to go through this book. They've got to go through the course. They've got to understand the script. You've got to teach them how to use the script. You've got to role play them with them. You've got to get them out there. because you got 6 weeks to lock that person in. If you don't do it, they're gone. You never get them back. And it's much easier to get this person going in their first 6 weeks because they're fired up. They just signed up in this new business. They've got all of these dreams and hopes and ambitions. They are already fired up about the business. So it's an incredibly good opportunity to get them out of the blocks.
Yeah. I just made a note here, and I was going to mention at the end of this, but I think for everyone watching, all of our clients watching, and people starting out their multi-level marketing business, we want you to get all of your distributors to download or read this book. It is very important for them to understand these 7 skills, because if they understand it, they can teach their people and they will run successful businesses.
I'd also like to just mention here that we don't have a dog in this fight. We are not receiving commission on this book.
Yeah.
Eric doesn't have any clue that we're busy reviewing his book. He doesn't have a clue at this point that we're actually using this book to run our own business. So we're not saying that the guys must buy this book because we got some skin in the game here. We don't.
Yeah.
Our skin in the game is that we'd love everybody out there to succeed. That's the skin in the game we have. We believe in multi-level marketing. We believe long-term this is going to be an epically wonderful way for people to put food on their table, roof over their heads. And in my opinion, this is the best book I've ever read on how to effectively go out and make multi-level marketing work for you. And so that's the only reason that we are kind of punting the book. So I just want to make that clear. You know,
Sure.
This is not we don't get anything out of this.
Yeah.
This is, there's nothing for us here.
I would hope he does, but I don't think Eric even knows us up until this point.
No.
But he should watch all of our YouTube episodes because
Yes.
they are awesome.
Somebody, if anybody knows Eric out there, get him to watch our YouTube channel. Who knows? He might even decide to come on and get interviewed by us.
I'm sending him this link.
Are you?
He's going to watch it, of course,
Okay.
and we're going to get him in
Fantastic.
studio,
Fantastic.
or at least online.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, let's go into the 7th and final step, which is promoting events. And I know we're big believers in these events and what they do for the network, building communities, building society, building belief. I mean, it's just amazing what these events can do.
Yes.
You've seen it with Amway.
Yeah. I went to an Amway event up in Johannesburg, and there were 12,000 people in the room, and they had Robert Kiyosaki spoke to the audience, which was mind-blowing. It was over Zoom, unfortunately. He wasn't actually in the room physically, but he came online and he had a chat with everybody in the room. The room went crazy. But what it did for me is that it just locked in my belief about how incredibly powerful this industry is. You got 12,000 people in the room, all thinking about one thing, and that's how to be successful within that space. It was powerful. Everybody you talked to was positive. Everybody you talked to was excited. Everybody you spoke to is willing to give you information and insights and help you. And so these events are incredibly powerful. Now, he goes into detail about why you should have these events, how you should get people to it, how important they are, strategies for getting your people to those events, etc. And so, it was a wonderful chapter. It wasn't something that was new to me,
Right.
but it was definitely something that I recognized needed reinforcing.
Yeah. One of the things for me was a section in this in the book that said he went to one of the big the company he just joined. He went to one of the events, and he popped out to go to the bathroom. And when he came back, he just found himself standing next to, I think it was the top distributor.
Yeah, I think so.
And he didn't know what to say to this guy. He just said the first thing that came to his head. And he went, "What is the secret? What is the secret to MLM?"
Yes.
And there is no secret. It's hard work. But what this guy had said to Eric was that you need to attend these events. You'll see that all of these people in the room, they'll not be at the next event. 50% will be at the next event, but they'll be earning double the amount that they were earning.
Well, that the rest of the average room is earning. Yeah, they'll have doubled their income.
The next time we have an event, 50% of that 50% will join, but
Will
they'll
not be there.
Yes.
Only
will
50% of the 50% will be there.
Will be at the next one. But they'll be earning double the amount of the room. And so on and so on. He said, attending this event builds the belief, builds a sense of community, becomes social. You are sitting with like-minded people in a room together.
Yeah.
There's no objection handling needed. You are all building this community, this company, and your micro business.
And he said that all you got to do to succeed is outlast everybody else in the room. You'll be at the top. And that's exactly what he did, and it's exactly where he landed up.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was an amazing story.
powerful.
Loved it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the book as well. He brings in a lot of his personal experience.
Yeah.
Because he's been around the block, this guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a noob. The whole first section of the book was he talks about how he got started and how difficult it was and all the mistakes he made, and that was really insightful because I recognized all of those same mistakes myself.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. When we got started, I made all of the same mistakes. I made several that he didn't make. So if he needs to know about other mistakes, I know a whole lot to make. I'm an expert at mistakes. But the thing is that he gives you that insight, and you also sit there thinking, well, this guy's become incredibly successful. These are the strategies he's used, but he made all of the same mistakes as I've made. There's an opportunity for me to become successful. And he gets into this thing about the events, and this is one thing we're pushing with Dream Team now. Events are going to be everything. When we're going to do 3 events a year, 3 big national conventions a year, and they're going to be a big deal in our business, and we're going to really drive people to be at those events, because I really believe that he's correct there, that events are one of the most important things you can do.
Wow.
We run out of skills.
There's no more skills.
Oh, right.
We're successful.
Yes. He does end the book, which I liked, about he's got 2 things. Is the one thing is it worth it?
Yes.
Where he goes into detail about, why would you do this? Is it worth it? And then there's another thing that at the beginning of the book, which I loved, where he talks about the multi-level marketing industry compared to traditional business. And I think that was also, those are 2 very powerful parts of the books.
Yeah.
So I think we're coming into land here.
We are. Sean, Richard, thank you so much.
You can stay. You
for
get another week.
Do you like the picture?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing.
Thank you so much for your time. I thoroughly enjoyed reading this book. I think Eric's put something together that is absolutely magical. It is simplistic in its explanation. It's practical in its explanation. And I think anyone reading this will get a great understanding and go,
Agreed.
It's a light bulb moment every single chapter.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
Would definitely recommend reading this book. And what I'd like to do, if you're happy to do this, is that each second week I would like to read a book on network marketing, on multi-level marketing, on the authorities in this space that have put together decades of experience into 2 hours.
Yeah.
And review these books, because what we'd love to do is, upon the review, provide amazing information on the space, but also get those authors into a room with us, onto Zoom, and just explaining more about the book, their experience, and providing insights in the industry.
Yeah, look, there's that saying that I told you about, that
Yes.
my good friend, his name is Hardus van Pletsen, would you believe? Okay. There's a good Afrikaans name, he's from Joburg, and he said to me one day that you can hide the biggest secrets in the world from most people by putting them in the pages of a book. And what he was trying to get at, and he did this with his network. So what he did is each one of his network had a manual, and he took a 100 Rand note and he put it somewhere near the back of the manual. Okay, and he then gave the manuals out, and at the next meeting where he was doing the training, the task was everybody needs to have read their manual. So then got everybody to bring the manuals to the front, and he opened the books. Every single one of them still had the 100 Rands in. And he took the 100 Rands out in front of them and said, guys, if you want to make money, you've got to read the material. You've got to open the books. You've got to go for it. There was 100 Rand sitting in this book. You didn't bother to read it. That's why you didn't make 100 Rands today.
Wow.
And so his whole picture was, he said that we have all of the secrets to your success sitting in this book. All you got to do is read it. It takes you a couple of hours. Come on. And so it was back to the whole thing is that you can hide the greatest secrets in the world in the pages of a book. Now, here you have a guy who spent 30 years learning the secrets of this business, has taken the time to put it into this little piece of paper this size for, I think it's 140 Rands. 140 Rands. You can gain 30 years of experience. Why wouldn't you do it?
Of course.
It's just a no-brainer. So anyway, I don't know. Do you think we've made a good case for people to read this book?
I think so.
I
think so. I mean, what is the line? You'd be stupid to say no.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. Richard, thank you so much for your time.
Absolute
I really appreciate
pleasure,
it.
mate. And thank you for yours.
To everyone out there, thank you so much for dedicating your time to us, Richard and myself, here at Netready in our studios. We really appreciate your time. I hope we provided some interesting insights into the multi-level marketing space. thank you to Eric Warren for putting this book together, GoPro, the 7 steps to becoming a successful network marketing professional. We really appreciate it. We'd love to have you on at some point, so we're going to get into contact with you. For all other contents within the multi-level marketing space that we've created here at Netready, please follow us on our YouTube channel, on LinkedIn, on our Spotify channel, and on Facebook. We're on all of those channels, and we're posting constantly on this lucrative space. The best kept secrets are sitting in the books. It's our job to reveal them. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you next week.